exactly 597 days ago, the Ukrainian Defense Forces destroyed Moscow plans to take Kyiv in 3 days and the myth about the second army in the world. The Kremlin was betting on the blitzkrieg, but the Ukrainian Defense Forces repelled a full-scale offensive in February 2022. Kyiv, Chernihiv, Kharkiv, Sumy, Odessa and Mykolaiv withstood, largely thanks to the consolidation of the Ukrainian society. Those who could took up arms, others dug trenches and became volunteers.
I
would very much like it not to be forgotten, neither now, after 600 days, nor after many years. I'm talking not only about the armed forces of Ukraine, but also the police, who were the first to take the fight, and those ordinary Ukrainians, who in the first hours of aggression actually lined up in queues to defend their homeland with weapons in their hands, even though many, trust me, many of these people did not even know how to hold these weapons properly.
Fighting has been going on for about a month in the Irpin-Bucha-Hostomel triangle. The capital was under Ukrainian Armed Forces control, while the Russian army was demoralized and moreover under the threat of encirclement. In late March and early April, the Ukrainian Defense Forces liberated the Kyiv, Chernihiv and Sumy regions. Then the world saw the true face of the Russian occupiers: civilian shootings, torture centers, mass graves. At the same time, it became clear that the Ukrainian armed forces are capable of advancing and liberating their territories.
It was the first victory of the Ukrainian army, a very significant victory that showed that the armed forces of Ukraine were capable of beating their enemy and capable of winning them.
30th of June 2022, the Ukrainian Defense Forces knocked the Russians off Snake Island. This removed the threat of landing in Odessa. After that, the Ukrainian armed forces began to check the enemy's defense in Kherson and Kharkiv regions. In a matter of days, in September, the Russian army fled from Kupiansk, Balaklia, Izium, and other settlements in the region. On the 11th of November 2022, Ukrainian defenders liberated Kherson. The deoccupation of the only regional center that the Russians managed to capture was preceded by the liberation of the right bank of Kherson region, as well as several towns and villages in Mykolaiv region. A few months later, Russia announced a winter offensive. The only success of the campaign was the capture of Solidar in Donetsk region and several surrounding villages. In May, the Federation occupied Bakhmut after a year of fighting for the city. Today, the armed forces of Ukraine are advancing in this direction. During the summer of 2023, the Ukrainian military liberated about 250 square kilometers of Zaporizhia and Donetsk regions. On the background of Ukrainian successes, Kyiv's partners began to expand the list of provided equipment: HIMARSes, Bradleys, Leopards and Abrams, Patriots and NASAMS, Scalp, Storm Shadow and F-16s.
We have had some good decisions during this period regarding the quantity of ammunition, the fact that the military-industrial complex of our partners has become more active. And this is, of course, good news. What we have to work on is developing our own production in Ukraine. That will let us significantly help our defense forces with weapons, ammunition, because this is a very important component in every modern war.
In 600 days of the big war, the Ukrainian armed forces have gone from a small post-Soviet army to a force that is much closer to NATO standards than to the realities of the Russian army. One's second army lost almost 290,000 soldiers, about 5,000 tanks, and more than 9,000 vehicles and armored combat vehicles. Russia also drew itself into global isolation and was subjected to unprecedented sanctions. The International Criminal Court in Hague has issued an arrest warrant for the president of the aggressor country. He is suspected of deporting Ukrainian children, and experts have documented more than 100,000 war crimes committed by the Russian occupiers. Ukraine, on the contrary, has strengthened relationship with its allies and strengthened not only defense but also diplomatic support.
Ukraine will definitely play a very significant role in post-war Europe. It will be hurt. It will not be part of the post-Soviet world. It will not be the former USSR or a country near Russia. It will be a completely free, independent state, as it in fact already is.
Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Valeria Nikipelova, UATV News.